At the Cricket Club, a 21-story condo tower in North Miami, residents opened their mailboxes in 2024 and found a bill for $134,000 per unit. Not for a luxury renovation, not for an upgrade, for structural repairs the building needed just to remain standing safely. And at Mediterranean Village in Aventura, it was even worse. Some owners there were handed assessments as high as $400,000. These are real buildings, real people, and the same story is playing out across South Florida, Tampa Bay, and coastal communities up and down the state right now. The Florida condo dream, the idea that you could retire in a beachside unit, lock the door and leave for 6 months and come back to something that appreciated in value, that dream is running directly into a wall. And that wall has a name. It's called aging infrastructure. And in 2026, the bill for decades of ignoring it has finally come due. Let's walk through exactly what happened, how we got here, and what it means for every buyer, seller, owner, and investor paying attention to the Florida market right now.
To understand what's happening right now, you have to go back to June 24, 2021. That was the night the Champlain Tower South condominium in Surfside, Florida, partially collapsed while residents were asleep. The building was built in 1981. 98 people died, and post-collapse investigations found something that shocked a lot of people, but probably shouldn't have. Engineers had flagged deterioration in that building years before it fell. Reports existed, warnings were filed, but nothing was done in time. Here's why. For years, Florida law actually allowed condo associations to hold a vote, a simple membership vote, and waive or reduce the reserve contributions that were supposed to fund future repairs. So boards kept dues low, residents were happy in the short term, and the money that should have been set aside for roofs, foundations, plumbing, and structural systems just wasn't. After Surfside, the state moved fast. In 2022, Governor DeSantis signed Senate Bill 4D into law. It required mandatory structural inspections, called milestone inspections, for any condo building 3 stories or higher that was 30 years old or more. It also required structural integrity reserve studies, known as SIRS, which force associations to actually calculate what their major components are worth, how long they have left, and how much money needs to be set aside every year to cover them. The original deadline for buildings to complete their first SIRS was December 31st, 2024. That was later extended to December 31st, 2025 under House Bill 913. And starting January 1st, 2026, a new transparency law called HB 1021 now requires condo associations with 25 or more units to post their governing documents, budgets, and reserve studies online, so owners can no longer be blindsided by financial problems the board knew about. That sounds like progress, and it is. But here's what nobody tells you. Nearly 900,000 condo units in Florida sit in buildings that are over 30 years old and subject to these mandates. Many of those buildings spent years, sometimes decades, not putting money away for repairs, and now all of that deferred maintenance is coming due at the same time.
Let's talk numbers, because this is where the story gets really concrete. When a building completes its milestone inspection and engineers find significant structural deterioration, the association is required to begin repairs immediately. There is no vote to delay it. There is no option to defer it to next year's budget. The work has to happen. If the reserve fund doesn't have the money, and in many older Florida buildings it doesn't, the only option is a special assessment. That means every unit owner gets a bill. And based on what we've seen across South Florida, those bills are large. Assessments in the $10,000 to $100,000 range per unit are documented and verified across multiple coastal buildings. The Cricket Club in North Miami, $134,000 per unit. Mediterranean Village in Aventura, up to $400,000 for some owners. These are not outliers anymore. They are examples of where the math goes when a building has been underfunded for 20 years and suddenly needs to fix everything at once. The problem is compounded by what's happening to HOA fees even in buildings that aren't facing those extreme assessments. Miami-Dade HOA fees rose 59% over the past 5 years. Tampa led the entire country last year with a 17.2% year-over-year HOA fee increase. Real estate professionals in Tampa Bay and Miami-Dade have reported watching monthly condo fees go from $650 to $1,400 in 2 years, not because anything in the building improved, but because insurance costs, reserve requirements, and deferred maintenance costs all collided at once. And then there's the flood insurance piece that often gets overlooked. Even for buildings in good structural shape, FEMA's Risk Rating 2.0, the updated flood insurance pricing model, continues to push flood premiums up 15 to 18% every single year. That cost flows directly into HOA fees too. So, you've got buildings with structural assessments in the tens of thousands, monthly fees doubling, and flood insurance rising automatically every year. For owners in units worth $150,000 to $300,000, the math sometimes stops working. The assessment can approach or exceed what the unit is actually worth. Owners who can't pay face liens, and after a lien, the association can eventually foreclose on the unit. That is not a hypothetical. That is a documented process that is playing out in Florida condo buildings right now.
Now let's look at what all of this is doing to actual prices and sales activity. In August 2025, Realtor.com published research showing the median sale price of a Florida condo had dropped to $285,000, down 8.1% from a year earlier and 14% below the July 2023 peak. Realtor.com called it the largest year-over-year August decline for Florida condos since 2010. As of January 2026, Broward County condo prices had fallen for more than a year straight. The median sold price dropped to $250,000, its lowest point since the prior August. Inventory in Miami-Dade increased to the point where the Miami Association of Realtors called it a buyer's market in the condo segment. And as of early April 2026, condo supply in Miami sat at 13.4 months, more than double the 6.2 months of supply for single-family homes. In some Gulf Coast markets, the numbers are even sharper. Analysts have projected that areas like Cape Coral and Northport could see price corrections in the range of 8 to 10% through the rest of 2026, driven by high inventory meeting softening demand. Part of what's driving this is a lending issue that not enough people are talking about. On March 18, 2026, just about 6 weeks ago, Fannie Mae issued Lender Letter LL 2026-03, and Freddie Mac released a matching update. Together, these changes eliminated what was called the limited review process for established condo projects. Starting August 3, 2026, virtually every condo sale involving conventional financing will require a full review, meaning lenders will dig into the building's reserve funding, insurance coverage, structural inspection reports, board meeting minutes, pending litigation, and special assessments before approving the loan. There's also a new reserve threshold coming. Starting January 4, 2027, condo buildings will need to demonstrate that they're funding reserves at a minimum of 15% of total budgeted assessments to be eligible for Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac-backed loans. A Community Associations Institute survey found that 42% of condo board members and managers were unsure whether their building was currently eligible for conventional financing. And of the communities that had already been deemed ineligible, 64% said it had negatively impacted home sales or property values in their building. Think about what that means practically. A buyer qualifies for a mortgage, they find a condo they like at a price they can afford, their lender submits the loan for review, the building fails the project review, maybe because reserves are too low, maybe because there's an unresolved structural flag, maybe because the association is carrying debt related to a special assessment. The loan is denied. The buyer walks, and the seller is back to square one, but now with a disclosed problem that the next buyer will also see. This is the part of the story that matters most if you're actually thinking about buying a condo in Florida right now, because the rules of the game have changed and a lot of buyers don't know it yet. In the old days, you'd look at a condo, you'd like the view, you'd check the finishes, you'd get a home inspection on the unit itself, and if the numbers worked, you'd close. That process is no longer enough. What you need to do now is treat the building like a second purchase.
You need the milestone inspection report, the actual structural engineering findings, not a summary. You need the SIRS, the reserve study that shows which major components are aging, how much they'll cost to fix, and whether the association has the money to cover it. You need the association's last 3 years of meeting minutes, because that's where they discuss upcoming assessments, contractor bids, and financial problems. You need the current reserve fund balance and what percentage funded it is. And as of January 2026, for buildings with 25 or more units, you have a legal right to access all of this online within 30 days of the reports being completed. If a building's reserve fund is below 50% funded and the SIRS shows major components coming due in the next 5 to 10 years, that's not a deal breaker by itself, but it means you need to price in future costs that the listing price is not reflecting. Agents who specialize in this market are now walking buyers through association financials the same way a lender walks someone through a mortgage application. That's how different this market is in 2026 compared to just 3 or 4 years ago. And if you're a current owner in one of these older buildings, the question worth asking right now is whether the trajectory of assessments, fees, and insurance costs is something you can sustain, or whether selling while inventory is still manageable in your building makes more sense than waiting to see what the next inspection reveals.
There are some things worth understanding about where this heads next, because it's not entirely bad news depending on where you sit. The broader Florida insurance market is actually showing signs of stabilization in 2026. Citizens Property Insurance ended 2025 with fewer than 385,000 policies, its lowest count ever. 17 new insurance carriers have entered the Florida market since the 2022 legislative reforms. The average Florida homeowner premium was $7,136 in 2025, down from $7,562 2 years prior. That's still about 3 times the national average of $2,543, but the direction has changed for the first time in years. On the new construction side, developers are actively marketing compliance as a selling point. Newer buildings with fully funded reserves, completed SIRS, and clean structural reports are insulating themselves from the chaos hitting older inventory. In the luxury segment, Miami-Dade total home sales rose 6.6% year over year as of March 2026, with million-dollar condo sales growing as a share of the overall market. Moody's and real estate analysts have used the phrase condo cliff to describe what's still ahead for a wave of older buildings in South Florida, those where cumulative repair costs are approaching or exceeding the total value of the building. For those properties, the endgame isn't renovation, it's termination, where owners vote to dissolve the association and sell the land to a developer. Some owners in those situations walk away with fair market value. Others feel pushed out. For first-time buyers who were counting on Florida condos as an affordable entry point, the math has genuinely gotten harder. And for long-term owners in aging buildings, especially retirees on fixed incomes who never expected a $50,000 bill showing up alongside their morning coffee, the situation is not something that resolves quickly.
Here's the honest summary. Florida didn't build this problem in a year, and it won't be fixed in one either. The Surfside collapse forced a reckoning that needed to happen. The legislation that followed was necessary, but the cost of catching up on decades of deferred maintenance is landing on owners and buyers simultaneously, in a market already dealing with high insurance costs, elevated interest rates, and rising inventory. The people watching this most carefully right now aren't just investors or analysts. They're condo owners in their 50s and 60s who bought Florida as a retirement plan and who are now opening assessment notices and doing math that doesn't work out the way they expected. The numbers are real, the timeline is real, and anyone with money tied up in Florida condo real estate or thinking about putting money there is paying very close attention to what happens next. If you want a full breakdown of how the Florida insurance market is shifting in 2026 and which counties are seeing the steepest fee increases, that breakdown is next. Make sure you're subscribed so you catch it.